Welcome to another episode of the NFC South versus the NFL. This one of your hosts, DJ, no Twitter handle.
And it's your boy Mike Ricks. Keep pounding.
And it's your boy TJ Jones. All I gotta say is who that?
We trying to figure that out. Anyway, once again,
you win one game.
There you go, DJ.
You win one game, now all of a sudden.
Woo!
Well, y'all come crashing down to earth next week. Y'all come crashing down to earth.
Anyway, week 2 is in the books. We saw a lot of things happen this week.
We saw a miracle happen in Carolina.
Okay. And we saw, man, I don't even know. We saw in I don't remember who y'all play. I mean, where'd y'all play at?
LA. They played in LA.
Oh, yeah, I did play in LA. Yeah, we saw y'all hopes and dreams get crushed in LA. But we'll get there when we get there. We're going to start off with the games that we got to see this week. We'll go down the list. I mean, the 49ers versus the Bengals. 49ers defeat the Bengals 41-17. Any shocker there?
Man, it was just a shock the way that they dismantled the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. This was a 49ers team that a lot of people didn't expect to do absolutely anything this season. Jimmy Garoppolo looked like straight hot garbage in the preseason. People were talking about how he threw 5 interceptions at practice, and they said that he needed to play a little bit better. Now we see a young 49ers team led by Jimmy Garoppolo. They ran the ball really, really well against the Cincinnati Bengals, over 250 total rushing yards, and Jimmy Garoppolo had 3 touchdowns in this game. You got to really be excited at what you see out of the San Francisco 49ers, especially being in the division with teams like the Los Angeles Rams, like the Seattle Seahawks. Both teams are 2-0 right now, and now you got the San Francisco 49ers right there with them. Right now, quietly, as it stands today, the NFC West is the best division in football right now. You have to give credit what credit is due. You got to give credit to Kyle Shanahan, a guy who was very, very patient, a guy that kind of weathered the storm a couple years. The 49ers have been kind of in the cellar of the NFC West. So it's good to see that this team is actually coming on with a lot of these young players, and they finally got their quarterback playing at an okay level. I mean, I think he can play better, but I think that the 49ers right now is the shocker of the league because a lot of people didn't expect for them to go 2-0 as of right now.
Yeah, I definitely second that.
I agree.
I mean, it's hey, watch out, Seattle and the Rams. I mean,
yeah, I know. It's gonna be an interesting division, man.
Defense. That front 7 is nothing to mess with.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, y'all experienced it. Yeah.
Chill out.
I'm not with.
I mean, there's a lot of shots going on for the one team that won this week.
I wasn't trying to take a shot.
It's all good though.
I was just saying, y'all got first.
It's all good. Hey, Buck fans, they mad or not? Well, we're gonna move on from there. And this is the game that I gotta take a little peek at. The Lions beat the Chargers. I had to mention this game because Phillip Rivers just makes me just look very smart as a person. I'm telling you, this dude finds a way. I mean, I understand it was like 3rd and 17. He had no other choice but to try to throw the ball into the end zone because they were down. Not really, because I think they lose by 3. Once again, he threw a pick in the end zone with a minute left in the game. He lost another one at the end of the game. Once again, Phillip Rivers continues to show he's a average quarterback in his league, and he's just gonna be that. He's not a. I mean, I don't want to get into that because I don't want to start that debate. Is he elite or not? But I personally don't think so. You saw what Matthew Stafford did. With like 4 minutes left, threw a dart to I think Galloway. I think he threw it to. Yeah. Put him up by 3. And what Phillip Rivers turn around and do? Interception. But I didn't mention that. Chargers look like they have a great team, but what's that now? 1-1. So
yeah, they 1-1.
I mean, Philip just keep making me look like a genius. That's what I'm saying.
No comment.
Yeah.
Moving on. I think if somebody else has a little comment about this game. The Green Bay Packers beat the Minnesota Vikings 21-16.
Oh yeah, I got something to say about this. Man, have never been a Kirk Cousins fan. I think he is one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the NFL. He is robbing people, especially the Vikings, from money. I'm not mad at him for it. He played his cards right. Get your money for all your players. But if you think you're going to have success because you brought Kirk Cousins over, you are wrong. Let's talk about this game. Green Bay Packers won 21-16. I'm going to say this now. I think Green Bay is one of the contenders in the NFC. I think they have a much improved defense. Aaron Jones running the ball. He had 116 yards on 23 carries, averaging 5 yards a carry, 1 touchdown, which helps out Aaron Rodgers a lot. Aaron Rodgers had 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. Had a very solid game. They're playing really, really well at 2-0. But I'm here to talk about the Minnesota Vikings. Dalvin Cook is a problem. Once again, he has over 100 yards, 154 yards at that, 1 touchdown on 20 carries. He is a problem. But the biggest problem is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was 14 for 32. 14 for 32, had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, a fumble, and a QBR rating of 4. That's got to be the league lowest for the past, I don't know how many seasons, but I could be wrong. But Kirk Cousins, as long as he's playing against proven pretty much solid teams and definitely good quarterbacks, he is going to struggle. That's why his record has been like 0-8-9 on Monday night primetime games or something like that. He's just terrible in my opinion. But long as he keeps putting up numbers, y'all are gonna hype him up. Last week he was 8 for 10. They didn't trust him enough to let him throw the ball more than 10 times in that game. But anyway, that was last week. Congratulations to the Green Bay Packers. That is a team to look out for. Aaron Rodgers and that defense and that running game. But be on the lookout.
Just for the record, Sam Bradford fleeced the league better than Kirk Cousins did. But that's just my opinion. And he played for the Minnesota Vikings too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Vikings be getting fleeced by some damn quarterbacks.
They sure do. They should have kept Case Keenum, in my opinion. But, oh well, they could have got him for cheap and had the same type of seasons.
The next game we got, I think this game was a little bit of shock. The Colts defeated the Titans 19-17. Any words to this game?
Congratulations, Brissett. Congratulations.
I was going to say the same exact thing.
Oh, well, my bad.
Oh, no. That's what's up. Congratulations to Brissett. Maybe they're not trying to tank. The Titans are like a pretty decent team in that first week.
Absolutely. That's a good win. That's a divisional win for them, so that's a good win.
Yeah. That wasn't surprising to me at all, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I think the Indianapolis Colts was one of those teams that were good last season. A lot of media people were talking about this team being a year early than, they weren't supposed to be as successful as they were last season. Now you look at this season, you got a lot of guys on that team that got experience under their belt. They got a good running game. You got Marvin Mack. I mean, he's doing an outstanding job. And you also have a good defense. And no matter who your quarterback is, rather it's a guy that can throw for 300-400 yards or a guy that can kind of manage a game like Jacoby Brissett is probably looking to do. When you have a good defense and you got a guy that really don't make as many mistakes like Jacoby Brissett does, I think you can be a playoff team. So I think they're going to be a really decent football team. And I think that by them beating the Tennessee Titans, which the reason why I feel like they beat them was because I think the Tennessee Titans was reading their press clippings. I mean, you look at the points they put up last week, more points than they probably put up in the last 12 years of their franchise history. And I think they were paying attention to that. And you're never as good as you think you are. You're never as bad as you think you are. And I think that's what happened to them. That's why they end up losing that game. But congratulations once again to Jacoby Brissett and the Indianapolis Colts to have a decent season. And they have a great coach in Frank Wright, a very underrated coach. That guy's a good coach. He does an outstanding job coaching up these quarterbacks. And we cannot forget that he was a key contributor to the success of the Philadelphia Eagles on that Super Bowl run.
Preach, my brother. You stole my thunder. I ain't got nothing else to say about it. Stole everything I was going to say. Good.
Colts answer back thing. We thought
that just mean we're on the same page, man.
They are who we thought they were.
And we let them off the hook. If you're on
Mariota came back to life, back to life, back to reality. Moving on.
Let's go.
For the slobber knocker of the week. The slobber knocker. The Patriots put, I mean, they just, back in the day, you did something real bad. So your mom just put you over the knee, like, nah, you gotta pull your pants down a little bit. Yes. The team that everybody knows is trying to tank the Dolphins, who got rid of Minka Fitzpatrick today. If you didn't see it yet,
yes.
He got traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
Yeah. For a first round pick, 2020.
Yeah.
I didn't get to read anything else outside of that, but not a shot because he was trying to get out of there. Kenyon Drake, you're next. But so Patriots beat the junk out of the Dolphins 43-0. I think I saw a stat that Dolphins have let up already 102 points in 2 games.
Yeah.
And honestly, they would have broke an NFL record if Gostowski wouldn't have missed a couple field goals in that game. That's the only reason why their record wasn't broken.
Right.
I think he missed maybe like 2 or 3 field goals in that game. So.
Oh, they're going to break some records this year. Ain't going to be good ones, but they're going to break some records. I mean, that franchise already, they the only franchise that ever went 0-16, right? And I think
Now the Lions did too.
Oh, yeah,
and so did the Cleveland Browns.
So the Browns.
No, matter of fact, no, the Dolphins didn't go 0-16. They went 1-15.
They celebrated.
Now that was Cleveland. That was Cleveland when they did a parade. The only 2 teams that went defeated the entire season was the Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions. They were the only 2 teams in history to not win a game. But they were close though. They went 1-15. That's when late great Cam Cameron was the head coach.
Well, they got a tough game next week too against those red hot Dallas Cowboys. So
yeah,
it's gonna be ugly.
Talk about that another time. But, moving on, the Bills beat the Giants 28-14. It's only a matter of time before we see Daniel Jones.
yeah.
We're just counting days down now. I mean, weeks down. We got them next week. So
I find that ironic, man. Don't y'all find that ironic? If you think about it, let's just flash back to 2003 when you seen a aged Kurt Warner being a starting quarterback for the New York Football Giants, and he played like a couple games, and then all of a sudden they benched Kurt Warner and they benched him for young Eli Manning. And I find that like everything just coming full circle. Eli Manning has been playing in the games, and the New York Giants haven't generated any success, and I think it's going to be like the same way. He's going to play in a couple games, and then they're going to gradually bring in their new draft pick in Daniel Jones. I mean, got to give a lot of respect to Eli Manning over the years, man. I mean, probably one of the best clutch playoff quarterbacks you're ever going to see, but we all know that Father Time is undefeated, man. I mean, some people time is up before others, but right now we just see an Eli Manning that's just a mere shell of himself. And it's sad to watch, man. I hate to see guys who have so much success in this league, and then all of a sudden, I mean, the age catches up with them. Those hits catch up with them. And that's what we have with Eli Manning. So I think that he's not going to give up. I think the organization of the Giants need to save him from himself, because right now it's just looking pathetic, man.
I'm telling you what's gonna happen. They're gonna trade him down to the Jacksonville Jaguars with Tom Coughlin's at.
Hmm.
'Cause they don't have what they hurting. So I mean, I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised for that to happen. And it's the NFC least. I mean, the Giants, they're a marquee team, and if they're not splashing, they're gonna have to make a splash move, and a splash move will be bringing in a number one pick.
yeah,
No matter how much he struggles, the fans gonna rather see him because I mean, a lot of them already signing Eli off. I mean, it's just like you said,
yeah,
it's a ticking time bomb, and I mean, you're talking about an era of quarterbacks that came in the league that many of us remember because I mean, those are a lot of players that we're looking at right now that are elites,
yep,
our generation that are going to be leaving soon, and Eli's one of them. You want to call him whatever you want to call. Man's won two Super Bowl rings. Gave what? Eli, not Eli. Tom Brady.
hmm,
What? One season when they went undefeated,
Yeah.
took that one from him. Another one when I think they squeaked into the playoffs and just made a run and that Tyree catch. I think that was that game. That
yeah,
same game.
yeah.
But yeah,
When they're
it's sad
undefeated,
to
yeah.
see that. My father was a big Giant fan, so I mean, God, rest his soul. I mean, that's coming up too. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, oh, man, go ahead.
no, I'm done.
Yeah, because we spent way too much time on this. But I want to give a shout to the Buffalo Bills. Sean McDermott, keep doing your thing. 2-0. Hey, I liked
Finish
y'all
his
a lot.
mission.
I like them a lot coming into the season, and I'm not saying that they're going to win a division, especially with long as they got the New England Patriots there. But I can definitely see them being a wild card team. They got a lot of bright young players there. They're hungry. They play very disciplined, very good football. So congratulations,
Yeah.
Buffalo.
And I like the fact that they got a running game, with the young Singletary as they running back. It kind of frees up Josh Allen. I think last season, Josh Allen, even though he had Shady McCoy, me personally, I feel like Shady McCoy wasn't the Shady McCoy of old.
Right.
Um, Josh Allen pretty much had to figure it out on his own. I think he was one of the leading rushers on his own team. You know what I'm saying, as a quarterback. And
Yeah.
when you have something like that going on, man, that's not winning football unless you Michael Vick or something like that. But the fact that they got this young running back that can actually free up Josh Allen, that can set up the play action, it helps these young receivers be able to get open and stuff like that because people have to respect the running game. And like you said, Sean McDermott, one of the best defensive minds in football. He was the mastermind behind the success of you all's defense that got y'all the 15-1 record and a shot at the Super Bowl championship. So
Right.
nothing but respect for him. It seemed like the light is coming on for the Buffalo Bills. So for a franchise that has been dealing with misery all these years, it's good to see some success come their way, no doubt.
Facts.
Yep. Cool. Moving on. Next matchup: Seattle Seahawks win a close one against the Steelers, 28-26. I personally didn't catch this game. I was in flight. Um, don't have much on it. Seahawks that was another team just coming into the season that I thought was gonna be really good. I mean, I would never question Pete Carroll, probably
Right.
one of the best coaches in the league right now. This
Mhm.
doesn't surprise me. We all know about the Big Ben injury. Guess somebody else want to talk about that, but not a shock to me that they won this game.
Yeah, no, me either, man. And shout out to Russell Wilson. All he does is win, man, and finds a way to
Yeah.
lead his team, man. So shout out to him. To my opinion, he is definitely one of the most elite quarterbacks that we have in this league. And also, man, I want to give credit. That was a very balanced game from them offensively. You throw the ball 35 times and run the ball 33 times. It was extremely balanced, man. And I believe he was like 29 for 35 for 300 yards, and I want to say 3 touchdowns. Big game from Russell, man. So he is
Oh,
he's under. He doesn't get. I mean, he gets praise, but he does not get in that upper echelon tier one type of. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the style of play. I don't know, but to me, I'll take Russell any day. So it's not a
Yeah.
shock to me.
Well, I think the fact of the matter is when it comes to Russell Wilson, I think people don't give him his respect because of what he was playing with. A lot of people, when they think of the Seattle Seahawks, with the first name they talk about the Legion of Boom.
Right.
They talk about, and then they talk about Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch, and then he comes next. So I think that a lot of people are looking at the fact that a lot of the success that he had with the Seattle Seahawks was really on the shoulders of the Legion of Boom. I mean, he was in his second season when they end up going to the Super Bowl. But make no mistake about it, last season, I think that's when we needed to start to respect the game of Russell Wilson. I mean, no Earl Thomas, he was out for the season. Richard Sherman, he was gone. No Cam Chancellor, no Brandon Browner. And this guy led a very young Seattle Seahawks team to the playoffs, even though they lost to the Cowboys. I mean, they fought to the end. And I think you have to give this guy a lot of credit. And it did not to mention, he's the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. That comes with scrutiny right there.
Right.
So people are critiquing how you're playing the quarterback position. And he does not waver. And I think I have a lot of respect for Russell Wilson, man. A lot of people talk about his stature, him standing 5'10". But I mean, when you look at the way he throws the football, the way that he can improvise, the way he can roll out of the pocket, and the way that he can make people around him much better, and teammates actually respect this guy, and the community at large respect him as well. I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. So I think you need to start discussing this guy when you're talking about elite quarterback play in the National Football League.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you need to begin, and shit already happened. I mean, they jumped a lot of people, jumped the gun on a lot of players.
Right.
Wentz, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, I mean, all he's done is, like you said, win. I mean, that's how you bring up a young quarterback. Give him a good defense. Let them see what's basically what defense is going to do to you. I mean, you're going to make your bumps and errors. I still remember them practices that Richard Sherman used to pick off Russell Wilson during practice and throw the ball back at him and tell him he sucked. After that whole thing happened after the playoff with that interception he threw.
Right.
Like you said, because when their window was closing, they felt it and they knew it. But Russell, he was still being a young quarterback and learn. Now he's at a spot now. He's seen it all. So now it's what we're going to see. I mean, what is he, about 30 now, I would say? I mean, that's when quarterbacks really become usually around that age of usually great.
Right.
Yep.
Watching it. So moving on from there, we had a hot Ravens team that's continuing to win, beat the Cardinals, team that rookie quarterback. I mean, they didn't beat them like they beat the week before, but they won 23-17. Any comments?
Yeah, I'm gonna be brief with this, but I do want to make a stand. Now, DJ, you threw something out there to us earlier this week, and I thought it was really, really amazing to see two African-American Heisman Trophy candidate quarterbacks battle against each other and have a very competitive game. Lamar Jackson, man, he's throwing the ball very good for a running back. That's all I got to say.
And to go off of that right there, this is why you got to take some things that a lot of these pundits be talking about for a grain of salt, because basically they all wrote off Lamar before he even took a snap, and I mean, I saw him at Louisville. I thought he could throw the ball. I don't know where they got the whole thing where he was going to be the next Tim Tebow to league. I didn't see it. I mean, you also got to give credit to the offensive coordinator and out there, because I mean, that offense is different. I saw some of that game and just both of them games that they played this year, and that offense is definitely different. I'll say that they're looking kind of like, at least the schematics of it looks a little bit like the Chiefs. Because I don't know how they be getting people wide open the way Andy Reid do the same thing in Kansas City. I don't know how they scheme and players just come wide open in that offense. And it's amazing, some of that stuff they scheming out there.
Man, I remember being at Planet Fitness, and the NFL draft was on TV, and I can remember when they said that the New Orleans Saints had made a trade with the Green Bay Packers to move up. And I thought, man, they about to get Lamar Jackson. I'll never forget that. I was like, man, they about to get Lamar. And I'm watching the TV with anticipation. And all of a sudden they say that they selected Marcus Davenport. And I was like, first off, who the hell is Marcus Davenport? And then I'm like, why didn't they get Lamar Jackson, man? You know, I think about this every time this guy goes out here and he performs well. I'm thinking he could have been a New Orleans Saint. And I feel the same way, kind of like when I watched Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
The Chiefs kind of moved up to get him. But, I mean, I can kind of understand that. But when Lamar Jackson was right there for the taking and they decided not to get him, you know, I felt like that was going to be a regret for the New Orleans Saints. And looking at Lamar Jackson and seeing how he developed, seeing how the offense of the Baltimore Ravens actually have developed him, and they scheming, you know, to his strengths and stuff like that. You know, I just wish that he was, you know, sitting on the sidelines for the New Orleans Saints. But I'm happy for the success that he have. I'm definitely like Mike said, you know, 2 African American quarterbacks, Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, going out there battling. I think we all can remember in our youth, you know, this seemed like this was never going to be a reality. You know, hate to get on you know, race and stuff like that, but it's just the truth. But to watch this in real life, man, in my adulthood, I have to say, man, it was a pleasure to watch. And it's good to see these 2 guys have success. And I think you're going to see these 2 guys have a lot of success for years to come.
Sure. And one more nugget. Lamar Jackson as a starter is 8-1. Let's just throw that out there.
And you know, just off of what TJ was talking about, I mean, I hate to, you know, put a little more salt in the wound, but could you imagine Sean Payton with Lamar Jackson? Yeah. I mean, what they're doing out there.
I'm so glad he ain't do that.
I didn't mean to do that, but like what they're able to do in Baltimore, I have a lot of respect for Sean Payton, no matter how much I can't really get, man. If he had his hands on somebody like that, look what he's doing with Hill. And Hill is like I'm a poor man's Lamar from Lamar's, you know, ceiling, in my opinion.
Man, I'll say this. To me, I think it probably came down to a conversation with Drew Brees. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I feel like he probably talked to Drew Brees and was like, Drew, you know, are we thinking about drafting Lamar? We not gonna do it. If you feel like you still have a couple more years, how many years you can give us? Of course, they'll never say that. They will never come out and say that out loud, of course. But I feel like it had to come down to a conversation. There's no way in the world if Drew Brees was like, well, I think this is going to be my last season, Sean, they wouldn't have drafted Lamar Jackson. I feel like Drew was like, I probably feel like I can play till I'm 45, and he really believed that. And the Saints probably just said, okay, Drew, and they decided to draft Davenport. That's what it came down to, in my opinion, because there's no way in the world like Sean Payton would have allowed Lamar Jackson to pass him up. The way he was ranting and raving about this guy, like during press conferences and stuff, it had to come down to a conversation with Drew. That's my story, and I'm sticking to
it. Makes sense. Makes sense.
I would like to see him in this division, but
I won't. I don't.
I mean,
I'm being honest.
Moving on from there, we got another team that has a lot of things going on, a lot of scrutiny, not really scrutiny, but just a lot of noise at it. The Jaguars took a L from Texans, 12-13. Mr. Moneybags up down there, you know, he ready to get shipped out. Talking about Ramsey, Jalen Ramsey. Mr. Brinks truck. Yeah, you can drive that Brinks truck to Tampa. Get your
y'all ain't got no Brinks for
him. We love to have another FSU player down there. I know the fan base will love to have him down there. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch. I mean, is this team gonna blow up? You got a loud mouth like that in the locker room. I feel like they got to get rid of him. If they're gonna keep that locker room intact, that's something that could really take down that locker room. So
Yeah, same thing, man. I don't have much to say about this game, man. Congratulations, Houston, on your first victory. Other than that, I'm a big Deshaun Watson fan,
Big man.
so I'm glad for them to get the win. I will say this though, Jacksonville, please hold on to Jalen Ramsey until like week 5 or 6, because we do play y'all in about 2 weeks. So I need all that chaos to be there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. The Jacksonville Jaguars for the past 3 years have been one of the most undisciplined football teams in the National Football League. You got guys that are trying to go out and up in the stands, trying to fight people in the crowd. You got guys that are just uncontrollable. You can't hold them back. They trying to get to a guy to fight. That's an undisciplined football team, and there's no excuse for a team to be that undisciplined. Except the only person you got to look at is the head coach, and that's Doug Marrone. I'm telling you, this team right here has a tendency of being really, really good. I mean, just a couple of years ago, they were in the AFC Championship games, a couple plays away from going to the Super Bowl. And now you have a team that just completely like unhinged, undisciplined. You got to look at Doug Marrone. I don't think anybody is going to end up leaving this organization for the exception of Doug Marrone. I mean, we talked about it off camera, Mike. We talked about Miles Jack having an issue with him. We talked about Jalen Ramsey having an issue with him. Leonard Fournette having an issue with him. You know, you got to look at the head coach. This is what I see. I see a team that is going to not be able to, just so happen to get blew out one of these weeks, 43, 44 to nothing. And the next thing you know, they're going to ship out Doug Marrone. Doug Marrone is the issue here. He's a good guy, good coach, good defensive coach. I remember when he was coaching down in New Orleans. But at the end of the day, he's not a NFL type coach to me. He's more of a college coach. He's more of a rah-rah coach. He's more like a guy that goes into an office and he can like rally young players. He is not a grown man football coach. He is not. They need somebody that is like a Pete Carroll, like a guy that understands the culture of this young organization. And if they don't have that, they're not going to have success. You got to have guys that understand these guys and allow these guys to be themselves. Doug Marrone, Tom Coughlin, one and the same. You need a coach that understands these young players. That's the reason why you got Pete Carroll, who's successful, because he can understand these players. You got to have another a coach similar to Pete Carroll with this organization. If not, they're going to have the same level of success they had over the past couple of years. Nothing will change.
Nothing at all. And we're going to move on from this game. Next, we had the Chiefs doing what the Chiefs do.
Yeah.
They beat the Raiders 28 to 18, no 10. Once again, Pat Mahomes, he's on a tear again. I mean, I don't think Andy Reid gets enough credit. I know this man can make every throw. He's very unorthodox. The way he plays the quarterback position is cute and all that good stuff. You know, the no-look passes, even though he missed one right over last week, if I'm not mistaken. But, he's a lot of flash, and I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but Andy Reid is, once again, orchestrating a regular season run. Not much to say about that. The Oakland Raiders, the John Gruden, Hard Knocks. I mean, they're. I mean, I don't. No, I'm gonna leave it there. I ain't going no rant. Y'all can go. Leave that one alone. I was gonna go on something.
Well, I'm gonna be quick, man. This was a divisional game. I believe all divisional games can be difficult, but with this team here, this is a special team, especially in the regular season. And they have a lot of firepower on offense. They scored 4 touchdowns, I believe, in the first half, all of their points. The thing about the Kansas City Chiefs is that their defense was always, well, not always, but last year pretty bad. And they've made some improvements this year. So it looks like they're on the right track. I want to see some more games. But as of right now, they look very improved on defense. So good win for them.
if the New Orleans Saints, don't make it to the playoffs, don't make it to the Super Bowl, this is a team that I'm hoping that make it because, it'll be sad to see such a great coach like Andy Reid never make it to the Super Bowl and win one. This is a guy who has always been a great coach in this league. You think about some of the great coaches in the past, like the Marty Schottenheimers, guys that can win 13, 14 games in the season, but just can't get the job done, win a Super Bowl. I want to see Andy Reid win one. I'm rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm definitely rooting for Andy Reid because Andy Reid, in my opinion, is probably one of the most classiest coaches you ever see. A guy who believes in some of these guys, like a Michael Vick. I just think about Michael Vick serving almost 2 years in prison and him giving Michael Vick an opportunity to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. And under his tutelage, Michael Vick was the comeback player of the year and got him a big contract. I root for guys like Andy Reid. So hopefully, man, like I said, I'm a big Saints fan, of course, but if they can't make it, I want to see the Kansas City Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl so Andy Reid can finally hoist that Lombardi trophy and solidify himself as a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah, I agree there. Want to thank him for our Super Bowl. Yeah, I agree there. Andy Reid's definitely one of those coaches that you definitely want to see win.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but class. Like I said, one of the offensive gurus we have in the league.
Yep.
He's went through that generational, difference and gaps when it comes to the NFL that many coaches have failed at, and he's continuing to do it, and it's good to see. Anything else, Mike? Good.
Oh yeah.
All right.
One more thing. That is my second favorite team. So.
Oh yeah, you might want to go on that bandwagon right now because
I spent a lot of years in the Show Me State in Kansas City, man, in my childhood. It was the first team I ever seen in the professionally played football. It was in Arrowhead Stadium, so I got some ties there. So it's good to see them doing well.
All right, moving on. We had the Bears versus the Broncos. Bears squeak out a close one, 16-14. Not mistaken, they won that game by a last-minute field goal. Yeah. At that game, yeah. The game I wasn't able to watch, but Bears. I mean, tell them by the score. I could be wrong. Somebody tell me how Mr. Trubisky. That's what I want to know. We gonna move on to y'all.
I'm gonna say a little bit.
I'll let y'all have it, man.
I'm not gonna talk long, but y'all may think I'm crazy, but I watched some of this game, especially the last bit of it when Denver went down and scored a touchdown with like 31 seconds left. They were down by 1. Denver decided, we're gonna go for 2. Went for 2, actually got it. So then they got up by 1. Mitchell Trubisky had 31 seconds left. 6 plays, went down, got a field goal, scored. It's something about him, man. He's not phenomenal. He's not an elite quarterback. But if I had my choice in this division, and I hate to go back to Kirk Cousins, I'm taking Mitchell over Kirk Cousins. It's something about this guy, man. I don't know if it's leadership. I don't know what it is. He's not great. He doesn't make all the throws. He's normal, but I don't know. I like him, man. I think I like him. He just has something about him, and he's young. He will get better. Trust, he will get better.
Man, if you had an orange and a tangerine, you basically still gonna have that same citrus flavor right in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? So picking between Mitchell Trubisky and Kirk Cousins, I mean, is not really that hard, man. I mean, they basically one in the same pace. Pick your poison. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, man, like Trubisky sucks. You know, I mean, I for what it is, but like he sucks. Like I'm just being honest. Like I don't know what it is about Chicago. I just don't. Every time they are successful defensively, they always have a struggling, terrible quarterback, I mean, at the helm. I mean, even back in the days
true.
with the 85 Bears, Jim McMahon, he wasn't that good. I mean, when you look at like people like when Urlacher and they went to the Super Bowl back in '06, who they had, Rex Grossman. I mean, they never
Cutler.
had a quarterback that can complement their defense. And yet, here we are again in the same spot. Mitchell Trubisky sucks. I'm sorry, Chicago. If you're a Chicago Bears fan, and I got some homeboys that Chicago Bears fan, the dude sucks. And as long as he's the quarterback, they're not going anywhere because they can pitch a awesome game defensively. They're gonna lose games 3-0 because Mitchell Trubisky can't get the ball into the end zone. He's not good. I'm sorry. He is not good. Like
I'll give him a little something. I know Mike want to get in some. I will give him a little bit of a pass because he don't really have many weapons. But one thing I do not like is that offense. That offense is very gimmicky, and I don't like a lot of that. Like the way they do a lot of that motion stuff. Like none of it's good to me. I don't like the way that offense. I didn't like him last year. I didn't like him this year. I just don't. I don't know. I'm gonna let Mike go. He got something on his mind. I was gonna say,
Well, I know you don't like gimmicky offenses. You always talk about offenses and being gimmicky. But I think when you put so much, the NFL nowadays is kind of tough to spread your money all the way across the board on your teams, and they've invested a lot into that defense. So you're gonna lack somewhere. Most teams don't have excellent offenses and excellent defenses and excellent special teams. So usually they lack somewhere. Their MO is to try to run the ball, time of possession, move the chains, play solid defense, win close games, and grind things out. That's the old Bears type of play. Mitchell Trubisky is a mobile quarterback that can move the chains. Is he going to give you 30 touchdowns, 20? Shoot, he may not even give you 25 touchdowns unless he plays the Bucks from last year. Or was it last year, DJ? When he threw a 4 touchdowns in like the first half or something like that. Doing something like that. He beat my Carolina Panthers, and he had like 8 attempts or something like that. DJ.
yeah, that was.
DJ, I don't know. But that's what I'm saying, man. This guy, as long as he doesn't make mistakes, he's a good quarterback for that team. I don't think.
Good quarterback.
To piggyback off of TJ though, they went up to get this man over who? Lamar Jackson and freaking Pat Mahomes, and I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe because maybe from TJ's standpoint, and I look at it that way too. They went up to go get this man, and I just don't see much. I don't see much of a ceiling outside of what we're seeing right now with this guy.
Well, I mean, I understand. Look, I understand what you're saying, Mike. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. When you're playing in the Illinois, when it's cold and it's snowing, and you're playing there 8 games out of the year, and then you go up to Green Bay and you're playing them. I understand like that, but there's going to come a time in the playoffs when you're going to be going up against teams. I mean, just think about some of these teams that are good. I mean, you look at like the Falcons, an indoor team. You look at the Minnesota Vikings, an indoor team. I mean, you look at some of these teams, and you're going to be in shootouts. You're going to be in shootouts, and you're going to have to be able to throw the ball down the field, and you're going to have to be able to match up with some of these elite quarterbacks that are playing at that position. And that's the issue that I have with Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, yeah, you got a good defense, but at the end of the day, when you have guys like Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, I mean, you got Thielen and Diggs, you got to be able to go toe-to-toe with these guys. You can't just always count on your defense to bail you out. There's going to come a time when they're going to have to rely on you to actually win a game for them. And I haven't seen that in Mitchell Trubisky. I just have not. And I think that he needs to just play a whole lot better. But I mean, I have not seen it. Yeah, we've seen like little flashes where he threw for like 5 or 6 touchdowns in the game. But besides that, haven't seen much.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time on him. I just don't. If you're playing against Thielen, if you want to talk about, they did win the division last year with this same type of play. And if you play against Matt Ryan and them, I truly believe that their defense is going to smother and kill Matt Ryan. So they probably are going to get Matt Ryan through 3 picks last. Well, we'll get to that. But they'll probably get some defensive touchdowns that they play football. So he doesn't have, as long as he doesn't make mistakes and he can go out there and move the chains, I think he's the right guy for that team. Are they going to go win Super Bowls? I don't know. But who's to say that a guy that got drafted after him in that same draft class is going to mess around and win Super Bowls? Super Bowls are hard to come by.
I think Patrick Mahomes is going to win a Super Bowl.
He may not, because their biggest issue last year was what? They had no defense. So they can put up 50 points all game long, but if you can't stop the other team from scoring, it doesn't matter. So they're in the same boat as the Chicago Bears, in my opinion. But
okay,
yeah.
I mean, I get you on that, but I mean, I don't know, man. I just feel like the way that the league is now, I mean, you're going to have to win games at the quarterback position. I mean, just the way the rules are set up and everything like that, the rules are just set up for the offenses to be successful. So you're going to have to be able to throw the ball down the field, and you're going to have to be able to, especially in the playoffs, man, when teams are going to be playing at their best, you got to be able to perform at a high level, man. I think that was one of the issues what cost them in that game against Philadelphia.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I think he's definitely below average. But I don't know. It's just something about him. I want to give him some more time.
Okay, that sounds good.
I mean, second-year player, right? I mean,
yeah. I want to give him some more.
Third year, right? This is third year. Right?
Third year. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying this dude's career is over, but
yeah,
I don't know. But I guess in the last game outside of South that we ain't mentioned yet, Cowboys beat the Redskins.
Oh man, you say this for last?
31-21. Cowboys find a way to beat another underwhelming team. Then we
I don't even look.
Darius Geis goes down again. Oh my God, what's up with LSU boys, man? I mean,
yeah, I thought it was
beat them to hell in LSU when it comes to the league and just can't even take the pressure and even the grunt of it no more.
Mm-hmm.
I need some quarterbacks up in LSU. Stop putting all the giving the ball 40, 50 times out there.
They got one out there now. Just putting the ball in the air. But TJ, I think you want to go. I'm gonna let you go on this one first, man.
You talking about the Cowboy?
Yeah.
I already went. I said.
Oh, okay.
That's
well,
yeah, another good game by Dak Prescott. I'm gonna give a little, second game in a row. What he put up 300-something yards, 3 touchdowns.
Right.
No picks. Did he throw a pick? I don't think he threw a pick.
Yeah, he threw one.
Oh, he threw one. Still, I mean,
it was early.
That coming for that contract.
I'm gonna try to keep this as brief as possible. A lot of people haven't been giving this man his just due, including myself. Dak Prescott has played 50 games and he's 34-16. And as a fourth year quarterback, I'm seeing him progress and get better. Now he actually has more weapons on the outside than he's ever had in his career. And Randall Cobb, Gallup, and Cooper, and then Witten came back. This is a very dangerous team. Very dangerous team. They're young, they're hungry, they're fast, and it's just something about them, man. They have a certain type of camaraderie that's I don't know, man. That locker room, something special about them. So, congratulations, Dallas Cowboys. I think we need to please stop disrespecting this man, Dak Prescott, and what he does, because he doesn't do it the way others may have done it in the past. He's mobile, he's strong, he may not be the most accurate quarterback, but according to stats, his completion percentage. I don't care if he dink and dunk and do all that mess. He's putting the ball out there. He's throwing a great deep ball now. He is best. He is the best quarterback in that draft class. Point blank, period. And I've said it.
Hold on, what year did he come out?
Jared Goff and Carson Wentz and them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, coming out of Ole Miss, I thought he was gonna be the top quarterback coming out. I mean, I hate to say because he's Dallas Cowboy fan, player now, but
yeah,
he had all the intangibles, but you know, there was a couple question marks. His personality, and I guess certain questionable things that happened down there. I mean, he always had the size, speed, arm, but Cowboys.
He had some stuff down in Mississippi State when he was playing down there, man. But the loss of his mom, I watched the story when he played there, and
I watched that too. And
when he lost it, something just I really wanted to root for him, and I was like, But as soon as he went to the Cowboys, all that went out the window.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna fight it any longer, man. The boy's bad, so he's special.
Yeah. That's week 2. Outside of
I got one more thing because it talks about my old Carolina Panther guy. Josh Norman. I need you to shut up.
Oh snap! Okay, shut up and play.
Just shut up and play, man, because you keep running your gums, and every time you run your gums, you out there getting torched, toast, bread. I mean,
Ezekiel.
We will bring you back once they cut you, but we're not paying you $15 million. We'll be happy to give you $2.3 million a year.
Man, he done got paid, man. So
right,
good.
Don't care.
Exactly. Exactly.
Deadskins ain't going nowhere. They back. Deadskins.
Yeah.
You can tell a lot by a guy and what they actually want by some of the signings that they make. You know, once they get contracts, you can tell if a guy really just cares about winning. Right. Josh Norman, in my opinion, ain't never really cared about winning, because if that was the case, he probably would have stayed with y'all. You know, I just think that he just went to the highest bidder, and I think he just kind of shut it down once he got paid. I mean, because he never was the same after he got his money.
Yeah, because he was hungry with the Panthers. Yeah, I don't think that same hunger now it turned into lights, camera, action. I mean, that's probably why he went to the NFC least too. I mean, that's that division. I mean, if you want that clout,
right?
That's the division to go to. I mean, they're gonna talk about you, anything you do, any noise you make. He was making that same noise kind of Panthers, but I mean, not. He was that boy opened his mouth a lot when he was with the Panthers. So
that's
I mean,
what I said.
I'm about to say.
Yeah, but he played, but he backed it up.
Yeah, he did that. He definitely did. He got on my nerves, but obviously because he was good. But I got to deal with him more. So
I'm not mad at him at all, man. Because coming from where he comes from and hearing his story, I get why he did it. He's setting up his family for generations, man. He had to do what he had to do.
When it comes to money, I would never be the one to ever tear a player down for getting their money. Go get your money, because let's just say them people, the ones that are looking down on y'all, they getting there. So hey, go get your money.
So I'm happy for him, and I'm happy that he didn't do much winning in DC, and he played them. Sort of like Kirk Cousins. But anyway.
And on that note, that was week 2. Outside of the NFC South opponents that we had.
Yes.
With your boy, I guess I'm DJ. Still no Twitter name. Signing out. Go Bucks. Wreak havoc. All that good stuff. I never say our slogans. Siege the day.
Because they lame. Anyway, your boy Mike Ricks, man. Keep pounding. You can hit me up at Mike Ricks07 on Twitter, man.
Hey, it's your boy TJ Jones. All I gotta say is who that. You can follow yours truly on Twitter at TJ the Radio Guy. TJAY the Radio Guy. Good night, Atlanta.
Good night, folks.
Yeah.